My guests today are from the McMinnville Garden Club. We have President Judy Eggers, and we have the tour coordinator, Trudy Mackle. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you could come.
We're happy to be here.
And we have the 15th annual garden tour and fair coming up soon.
Correct. Sunday, June 28th, the last Sunday of the month, and the fair starts at 9 in the morning, and then the tour runs from 2 to 4.
Okay.
10 to 4.
So how does that kind of work?
Tickets are on sale at different vendors here in town, and also from the members, and
at the homes themselves?
yes,
Yes.
Okay.
as well as the farmers market.
Okay. So the tour of the gardens is from 2 to 4.
It's from 10 a.m. to 4.
10 a.m. to 4. Okay.
Correct.
And then the fair goes from
9 to 4.
9 to 4. Okay, so it's really an all-day thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and so people can come and shop before they hit the houses and come back into town
Sure.
at any point and have a bite to eat, shop, you know, have a sip, whatever. Just enjoy McMinnville.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the tour itself?
Sure. We have 5 homes, and that's the usual number. And there has been a group of ladies who have gone to these gardens and has visited them and then selected them, and they're turned over to then us. And I was first introduced to them after they had been selected, and we elected to take a title. We chose Gardens Our Treasures, and then my responsibility was to come up with the ticket book and the descriptions of the gardens or writing about them, which was a pleasure because I got to meet all the garden owners, and with that title, Garden Our Treasures, it gave you something to talk about immediately.
Sure.
You know, what are the treasures in your garden that people shouldn't miss, and what do you treasure about your garden? And those questions, I just think, opened up people's souls and their hearts, because the people who do these gardens love gardening, they love their gardens, and they like to talk about them. And then we're lucky enough that they open the gardens to let all of us come in. And so I run through the gardens quickly, because
Sure.
they are.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
They're very, very distinctive this year.
Okay.
And I'll talk from garden 1, 2, 3, 4,
Sure.
5. The first garden was on the tour several years ago, but has gone through a pretty drastic transition.
Okay.
And the woman who is the gardener in this family is a rose lover, though she really only has a very small rose garden. She scatters them everywhere. But when she came to McMinnville, they had 2 moving vans, one of which was filled with nothing but plants.
Oh, I love it.
And
Okay.
artwork for the garden. And she came from the San Francisco area, worked in a nursery that specialized in roses, and so she got pick of the litter. She would buy them before, or get to buy them before anybody else. So she has what she calls some roses that are not in commerce. They are simply not available. Some of them never were available.
They're test
per
roses
se.
and things.
Yeah. And so, but what they did is they have terraces, because they butt up to a cliff. And so they have roses scattered throughout, but they have trees and clematis and blueberries, and then you go up some steps and here are tomatoes, and you go down some steps and there's other things. They just literally have a garden full of hundreds of different things.
Wow.
The husband is a wholesale nurseryman, and they
Okay.
both love gardening. So
That's fabulous.
it's up in the West Hills. Garden number 2 is what I call a lush garden. They bought the home, remodeled the home, and then attacked the garden, meaning they brought in bulldozers.
Oh, wow.
And literally took away all the old topsoil, left just a handful of trees, shrubs in the backyard, front yard. The garden, and people will never believe it, is 2 years old, because of it's just there with the background of these existing couple trees. It looks like it's been there much longer.
Oh, I love it.
And the gardener is April, the owner, who is a master gardener, and she also has a sense of whimsy. And so there's very interesting pieces of artwork scattered throughout.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and she can talk about trying to plant things that are not interesting to deers because they're very near the golf course.
Oh gosh, yes. I have that problem. They eat my hydrangeas and hostas and everything.
Even things they say are not attractive to deers. Yeah, she can address that. Plus she can talk a lot about snails and slugs too, and talked to her the other day, and she had been out at 10 p.m. with her flashlight trying to hunt them down. She's just
relentless.
Yes, and that garden, I mean, it's going to be amazing.
Oh, good.
And as are number 1 and then 3, 4, 5. 3, the woman likes tropical foliage.
Ooh, fun.
And the garden has been developed over years. And what I admire so about this couple is they tackle problems or projects as they can afford to do so. And what they've come up with is just extraordinary because, again, the owner loves tropical, plus she likes unusual foliage. And she doesn't particularly care pruning. She likes it to look wilder.
Tangly.
Yeah, and they have eating areas in back and living areas and a koi pond that they've built. They even went to the quarry and got the rocks for this. And so it's a half acre.
Oh my goodness.
It's just, and in back they have started raised beds for vegetables and all of that. But it's just a very unusual garden. And then the 4th garden is the garden that they have a half acre and just plant tons and tons of vegetables.
Oh.
And then also flowers that support a floral business. And the owner is, for instance, this weekend, she'll plant flowers for the bride's colors and what the bride likes.
Good, yeah.
You know, and that's a small scale thing for the summer months, but it's this diversity you're going to see. Plus, she's now taken the classes to become a beekeeper, and they've introduced hives to their garden. And what this woman has done is she actually has then the degree in horticulture and etymology. And so she is just, and she talks about how gardening, working with the bees has changed how she looks at her garden and how she gardens. And then the last garden is a lovely, lovely garden in the old part of town, down Birch and 8th, where the houses are very big and the trees are big and it's lush. And that garden will say, okay, here's what I can do in shade. And you know, where the others have the benefit of the sunshine.
Well, that's going to be, what a nice cross section and diverse group of gardens.
And I think it's wonderful because if you take the Chamber of Commerce map and you plot where these gardens are, we completely circle the town and stay in the town. There's no one living out in the hills this year or that type of thing. It's in town, so you could actually go see a couple gardens, come in, take a break, and do the fair.
Have lunch.
Have lunch. See the, you know, we've tried to increasingly talk about downtown McMinnville too because of the honors it got and the recognition. And so maybe in future years we can put together a more compact weekend in McMinnville. But it's great. We have this diversity in the gardens. And the homeowners are there as people go through the gardens. Plus we try to have, like, a lot of them are master gardeners this year, hostesses that answer questions, and people can take pictures and figure out what they're going to do in their yards.
Okay, great. I mean, that's exciting. And now, do you want to talk, Judy, a little bit about the sort of the larger purpose of the garden club?
Oh, yes. The garden club, excuse me, has been in existence for many years. It started in the 20s, and so we're one of the oldest and one of the largest in the state. But our garden tour and garden fair bring in money so that we can support scholarships for students. We give out 3 scholarships a year and beautify the city. We've given benches and lampposts and garden baskets, and we've just recently redone the west end of McMinnville where it says "Welcome to McMinnville." redone that planting bed and put in a lamp post with garden baskets in it.
Yeah, it always looks beautiful, and people, you know, everyone who comes to McMinnville always talks about how beautiful it is, and
Yes.
how many flowers, and
Yes.
all the art, and the lamp posts, and the benches. And,
Right.
I mean, it's just such a nice, welcoming
It is. It is.
touch.
It's a special place. It really is.
Now, where will the fair be happening? Will that be downtown where the farmers market is?
Yes, on Cowles,
Okay.
on both sides of the street, and in the grass area. So there'll be upwards towards 40 vendors,
Ooh.
ranging from artists to nurseries to all kinds of our garden-related vendors.
Now, if somebody decided that they wanted to join the garden club, is it a big process, or do you have
Oh,
to have
no,
an
we'd love
active
to
garden, or?
We love to have members of all shapes and sizes come and visit us, where our meetings are held from September through June, the third Monday of the month. And we meet at 9:30 at Hillside Manor in the activity room. Everyone's welcome.
That's really nice. And then you take July and August off, so
We do.
you could work in the garden.
Yes. And
Basically.
enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So have you, I mean, as long as you've been in, I don't know how long that is, but have you found your own gardening practices changing just by listening to other
yes.
people?
Yes, I think that gardening is change. It's just one constant change, I think, in your garden. But yes, I have a shade garden. It's predominantly shade now, and it started out being a sun garden. And
As
now that-
everything's grown up?
Yes, so now I'm gardening in shade, so that meant change.
And I was, well, I've only been in McMinnville about 2.5 years.
Okay.
And so my landscaping in my backyard was what I call meadow or construction landscaping. I had weeds and rocks.
Oh.
And so this was, joined the garden club to, okay, what's gardening all about up here? What plants will grow and that kind of stuff. And you really get inspired by the people you're exposed to, because they've done it all, and I mean, they're extraordinary people. And I also exposed to some birders now, as far as so I can identify
sure.
what birds are in the backyard. That and yeah, you learn for somebody like me, and people are helpful. And again, they love to talk about their gardens and share their information. And so for anybody who really wants to improve, and I mean, from these garden owners, it's really impacted me, because what I learned was, and a couple of them that they talk about, one of them was buy the plant, plant it, move it, move it, move it, move it again, then plant another one. And then the one garden, the lady who has all the tropical interests and all, and she's told her partner that all of her plants have to come with a backpack or suitcase because they're going to be moved.
Okay.
And so this freedom that people take, the gardeners, that of moving things, finding a better home for it. I mean, it's all stuff you learn from being part of the garden
Sure.
club.
Yeah, don't get your heart set on anything, because you'll have to dig and divide or move it or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the poster. I know we're almost out of time, but I wanted to mention the lovely artwork, which you mentioned was created by Cindy Stinson-Chinell,
Correct.
and it's really beautiful. So
It's iconic, and so we've
Yeah.
used it on everything, our ticket
I love
books,
it.
our posters.
it really is. It's gorgeous.
And she did donate her work to
That's
the
so
club.
nice.
She did this specifically for us, and it's supposed to be reminiscent of an old seed packet.
I love it.
Okay.
I completely get that. Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming in today, and I really want to wish you a lot of success on the tour Sunday, June 28th, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Lynda.
for having us.
Thank you.